Despite his actions in Midgard, Atreus does still care for you.
I know. I raised a son, too. It may be hard to believe, but he was quite similar to Atreus at this age. He adored his father, always wanted to do right by him, and was constantly frustrated that no matter what he did, he never could seem to get his approval. He confided in me a lot, sought the comfort his father withheld. I wonder if your son could benefit from that, too.
He has befriended the other dwarf. The blue one's brother.
Oh. Well, if Sindri has that covered, I suppose there's no need for me in his life anymore, is there?
That is not what I meant.
That was sarcasm. Mimir, I never asked how it felt to lose your head.
What would you have me say? That it tickled?
Merely curious.
If you wish to derive some satisfaction. From my pain, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Kratos swung swift and true, didn't you, brother? I felt nary a scratch.
Shame.
Despite his actions in Midgard, Atreus does still care for you.
I know. I raised a son, too. It may be hard to believe, but he was quite similar to Atreus at this age. He adored his father, always wanted to do right by him, and was constantly frustrated that no matter what he did, he never could seem to get his approval. He confided in me a lot, sought the comfort his father withheld. I wonder if your son could benefit from that too.
He has befriended the other dwarf. The blue one's brother.
Oh. Well, if Sindri has that covered, I suppose there's no need for me in his life anymore, is there?
That is not what I meant.
That was sarcasm. Mimir, I never asked how it felt to lose your head.
What would you have me say? That it tickled?
Merely curious.
If you wish to derive some satisfaction from my pain, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Kratos swung swift and true, didn't you, brother? I felt nary a scratch.
Shame. Do you regret it, Mimir?
Most likely. What are we talking about in particular?
Giving up your body?
Do I regret exchanging my life for my freedom? That's a question I ask myself every day, my lady.
What about today?
Today? Glad to be out in the world. How else could I spend such quality time with you?
Okay, okay.
Learn anything? Brother, in my travels, I heard of a great battle in your homeland. at a place called the Gates of Fire.
The Hot Gates.
You were there?
No.
Is that regret in your voice?
I did regret not dying there for many years. But no longer.
If you don't need them, I can hold on to those Vanir crests for you.
Appreciate it.
This crest. It's mine.
Why do you yawn?
Force of habit, I suppose, since I don't sleep anymore. Although, it's far more confounding that I'm the tired one. I've seen you stay awake for days at a time without so much as a drooping eyelid. Not even a nap.
Gods do not nap.
Oh, tell that to Thor.
This crest belonged to Odin. A peace offering from my people. And a waste of good work. That's all the crests. Thank you for finding them.
Freya, you once revived a giant's corpse to stop a certain fight we won't talk about. Could you call on that power again?
Maybe. Do you have a massive giant's corpse for me to revive?
No?
Well, there you go.
If it ain't my two favorite gods.
I suppose your skills are needed.
Family crests? I'll take them. Somebody ought to save these, even if the Vanir won't. can forge some new stuff
What?
for you.
Is this?
Ravens. The ones we've been destroying. Odin's little spies.
New father, new mother, new fate to suffer. We told what we saw, empowered his lies. Good little ravens, good little spies.
Are we off to find that elven sanctum then, or something else?
We certainly can. Though we do have something else that needs our attention. Last we were in Alfheim, Atreus heard something out in the Barrens. A creature in terrible pain.
Lead the way. Kratos, tell me of an adversary from your homeland. It will serve us well if I understand more of your battle tactics.
There was Medusa, queen of the Gorgons. Her gaze turned men to stone. A mirror would turn her own powers against her. Or you may remove her head, but that is the hard way.
Which did you choose?
The hard way.
Forget I asked. We don't have the equipment for this. The Temple of Light is certainly gaudier than I remember it.
Aye. I thought it might be why Freyr chose this realm. A change of pace from home.
I won't lie. I expected legions of light elves.
Yes, and I fought many on the way to Groa's shrine. And then dark elves ambushed us as we escaped.
And yet, none are present here now.
When the dead are too many, the ceasefire is called.
Then we should be able to explore at our leisure.
Be careful.
I know. I wouldn't try to touch it. Not in a million winters. I'm no fool.
Good.
Limitless. Limitless what? Power? Growth? Ambition? A bit vague, isn't it?
We don't have the equipment for this.
creature Atreus heard. It lies out in the desert.
Wonder what it could be. Most of the larger beasts of Alfheim have long been dead.
I'm sure my brother would know. He loved this realm.
And the realm loved him in turn. Still does.
I'm sure he blames me for having to leave.
That was not your fault.
I know. But I can't fault him for wanting to protect his family, even at the cost of plunging this realm back into war.
We should be able to reach the barons up top, once we find a way past this hive matter.
What are these tendrils?
Part of the Dark Elf Hive.
Far different from the hive I remember as a child.
Alfheim's changed a great deal since then.
I suppose we all have.
Hail, fellow travelers!
Atreus heard a creature in pain in the desert.
Over a storm like this? Most impressive.
When I was Atreus' age, this desert was home to all manner of life. Have you seen any large creatures in your travels out here?
No, sorry. The elves and I... Long story, but it's best when we keep out of each other's way. Hive matter is... stickier than I care for. Good luck on your search, though. Stuff some cloth in your ears to keep the sand out. Don't knock it till you've tried it.
Gulon in Alfheim?
And sled trained by the looks of it. Most unusual.
I've never seen such obedience in Gulon. There is some kind of magic at work here.
Regardless, it should make desert travel downright pleasant. Were it not for a brutal sandstorm. Any particular direction to find your wounded animal? Or are we just enjoying the weather?
How do you hope to find anything in all this?
Perhaps we find a cave first to catch our bearings? Not getting up there with all this sand in your way.
I don't see a way past this gate. Not while the storm rages.
the injured animal is inside.
Whatever's inside is kicking up quite a bit of sand.
How do we reach it?
There's caves and tunnels aplenty out here. Let's find one and see where it takes us. Right side, brother! On your left!
Behind you! Look out! Poisonous spit incoming! Knock that grim down!
Behind you, watch out! Brother, the wee bastard's about to explode!
Incoming! Back here! Good riddance!
So, which is your favourite of Gavassia's poems, brother?
Why would I choose a favorite?
Right side!
Behind you, watch out!
Behind you, brother!
What's that?
A diagram for a sword hilt.
Perhaps we should show it to one of the dwarves. They'll know what.
A horn. Look here.
A tempting treasure chest! Damn the sand!
Look there! An entrance to the caves!
This cave extends underneath the desert.
Aye. A refuge for the Dark Elves by the looks of it. One of the few remaining now that they're barred from the temple. Perhaps we'll find Atreus' wounded animal down here.
Lead the way, Kratos. I trust you to not get us lost underground.
Twilight Stone give you the angle you need, brother? Right side, incoming!
These poor elves, blinded by hate, lashing out at everything and everyone for their fate.
They will not listen to reason. Combat is unavoidable.
Oh, trust me, I know. Still, I wish it were not the case.
Patience. A virtue or a threat?
Depends on the reader.
Strange how you'd rather bring me along for this task instead of your own son.
I have to agree, brother. Atreus would have enjoyed this desert dalliance. Especially where maimed, innocent creatures in need of rescue are concerned.
Good. Perhaps it will teach him the consequences of disobedience.
An odd way to discipline. No. I am in no position to judge.
Enemy behind you, Kratos!
If I may, have you asked Atreus why he feels the need to hide things from you?
Of course. It solved nothing.
It isn't supposed to.
You are meaning?
The boy is allowed to have secrets. All children do.
His secrets are dangerous.
Of that I have no doubt. Still, they are his to bear.
Ah, bear. Yes. At least that one isn't so much a secret anymore.
Apollo! Behind you, brother!
Behind you! Incoming!
Aggressive!
Freyr kept many secrets as well in his youth. He and Atreus were much alike.
Disobedient. Reckless.
Oh yeah. With a compulsion to help those in need. That was partly what led him to Alfheim in the first place, and why he stayed so long.
Winter has changed Atreus. This prophecy weighs on him. Shapes him into someone different.
He is deciding which path to take. It may not be the path you choose for him, but ultimately, it's his path to walk. It is odd to watch you, of all people, go to such effort to help this injured creature.
Scouting clears my mind.
Right.
Speak your piece.
Atreus has influenced you, has he not? Conditioned you to help those in need?
What of it?
You should trust that you've influenced him in turn.
Got him! Enemy behind you! Enemy behind you, Kratos!
A Hofgufa. I haven't seen one since I was a child.
Great Gefyun's ghost! That's the largest bloody Hafgufa I've ever laid eyes on.
That howling sounds familiar.
It's the Song of the Sands. They don't normally sing like this underground.
That must be the cause of the storm.
Aye. Judging by all this hive matter weighing it down, it's been trapped here for dozens of winters.
There must be a way to cut it loose.
I'd wager that there's nothing here a well-placed throw of the axe can't solve.
That helped. We've cut it loose, but it can't seem to escape.
Much of the hive matter is gone. We can free it from the surface now.
How in the realms did they capture such a large one?
Afghifas are known to burrow, so I'd hesitate to place full blame on our Dark Elf friends.
Even though it's bound by their hive?
Hive matter doesn't belong to the Dark Elves, any more than the light belongs to the Light Elves. It's just another of Alfheim's natural resources. One the elves have used since the time of their ancestors. And while the Light Elves seem keen to banish the hive over on their side, the Dark Elves make effective use of it out here in the Barrens.
But if this is true, are we doing more harm than good by destroying this hive?
You wish to leave the creature enslaved.
No. Freyr would appreciate our efforts to ease the harshness of these lands. We should free it.
Here! You should be able to cut this part away and free the half-goofa!
Never imagined I'd see a half-goofa fly again. Can't believe the lad missed this.
The storm is gone. The Song of the Sands has returned to Alfheim, albeit somewhat diminished from how I remember it as a child.
Atreus will be glad to hear it is no longer in pain.
You look forward to telling him.
I do.
It is not too late to avoid my mistakes. Your son must walk his own path, but you can still guide him. And I will help you, however I can, for his sake.
Thank you.
Well, nice to be able to have a real conversation out here for once. Freya, I've always wondered, why was Freyr so revered here so quickly upon his first arrival?
Well, to begin with, it wasn't his first arrival. Very few know this, but Freyr was one of the earliest visitors to Alfheim, back in the dawn of realm travel.
Hold. We will finish later.
Freya, earlier you mentioned that Freyr was one of Alfheim's first visitors. Care to elaborate? I wasn't in these lands at the dawn of realm travel.
Well, we believed for a long time that all the giants had died in the flood, until one of them appeared in Vanaheim. Her name was Gerd, and she came offering to teach us the secrets of traveling between realms using Bifrost light. Freyr became immediately infatuated with her. He always yearned to wander, and along came someone who could truly show him how. So, wander they did, exploring the world tree from root to branch. But one day, it came time for Gerd to wander away.
Let this wait. Stay alert.
Freya, getting back to your brother learning to realm travel, I take it the romance with his teacher ended poorly?
It did for him.
Set that aside for now. Come.
Sort of a harp. I can play beautifully, you know.
I do not, and would prefer it remain that way.
Freya, getting back to your brother learning to realm travel. I take it the romance with his teacher ended poorly?
It did for him. Freyr was heartbroken and resolved himself to perform some great feat to win her back. He set his aim on the grandest of gestures. He intended to be the first to find the elusive source of Bifrost light. And he succeeded, although quite by accident. Freyr believed he navigated best while fortified by a potent blend of Vanir herbs. When he wandered, he wandered. And he managed to wander from the World Tree directly into the Lake of Souls. The elves have never seen anybody come out of the lake before, so it got some attention.
Oh, that is bloody hilarious.
I don't know whether he worked his charms at that point or they just assumed him to be a great deity. But of course, he hadn't made this journey in search of responsibility, so he didn't stick around long. Still, the legend of his manifestation was passed along through the ages. It even endured after the Great Division, remembered by Light and Dark Elf alike. So when at last he returned, he was uniquely situated to gain the trust of both sides and help to create a truce. The problem was, both sides trusted only him. So the peace could only last as long as he stayed around to keep it. And with the long war dragging on without an end in sight, I suppose making any kind of peace was an irresistible notion for him. Even if it meant having to rule.
Bloody drop.
Enemy behind you, Kratos!
You're on fire, Kratos! It will pass! That Droga.
Whatever.
Reminds me of tales of a cruel empress. One too angry to die.
You will see.
Much of the sand has been cleared away, but another storm rages beyond that pass, which must mean...
Another half-goofer.
odd. It looks as though the Light Elves sealed off this section of the Barrens. Why?
Luckily for us, a very considerate goddess has enhanced our magic chisel, and we can unseal it.
My, that is lucky.
The Forbidden Sands lay beyond.
Contested territory, according to Bela, and another storm to endure.
I remember when Freya and I traveled to this realm as children. The desert was healthy and full of life back then. I can't help but fear that era has ended for good and our efforts here are futile.
It's a fair concern. Healing this land will take more than a pair of singing half-goofer. But I have to believe, in the long run, we're doing right by Alfheim. Well, best we start looking for a way underground.
Keep a lookout for a cave! I see an entrance!
I hope Freyr will appreciate our work here in the desert. I wonder if he knows how poorly this realm has fared in his absence.
Aye. Hearing the Song of the Sands again is a rare privilege, even if it's only a solo act.
Or a duet, once this Hofgufa is free. This architecture... it is not of the Dark Elves.
An abandoned ancient settlement, by the looks of it. Built long before the Lightwell's creation.
More hive matter as well.
I'd say we're on the right track then.
Blocked.
Could I reach it from down here? This kind of hive material is sensitive to sound. How odd. When I last came here with you and Atreus, I assumed the absence of Alfheim's light was an aberration. I didn't realize it was covered by hive matter.
Aye. And as far as the Dark Elves are concerned, it's that light column in the center of the temple that's the aberration. Just look at how old some of these surfaces are. Far older than the Lightwell, or even our trapped Halfgiffer for that matter.
That's quite the empathetic perspective, Mimir.
Well, dangle from a burly god's backside for a few winters, and you'll find yourself looking for all sorts of new perspectives.
More hive, but denser. Well, there you go.
Wretch on the left!
It's down!
Cover! The wee bastard's about to explode!
Enemy behind you! Switching arrows! Enemies on the left! Left side, Kratos!
Find you! Impressive! coming!
Light elves don't often travel underneath the barrens, do they?
Territory changes hands often in Alfheim. Or so it appears.
Big Beard did mention that these ruins have historical significance for the Light Elves. I assume they're only here to keep intruders out.
Well, at least they tried.
I suspect the corpse below would disagree.
Look there. That hive doesn't like sound, remember?
Right flank! Poison! Right flank! Behind you! Look out!
I hope freeing these Hofgufas will allow them to breed again. It was a dazzling display once. The skies of Alfheim filled with their song.
I imagine it's the lack of fresh light that's caused this pair to grow abnormally large. No use in having babies if there's nothing for them to feed on.
Trying to protect their children from a harsh world. I can relate. I wonder if these two comprehend the choice they face once freed.
What choice do you speak of?
The life cycle of the Hospitas. In order to breed, they must pass on their light to their children.
And without light, they will die.
I suppose that's all any of us can hope for in the end. That our death has purpose. That we can live on through our children. Given another chance, I know what choice I would make.
Aye, back to the surface then.
Right side, incoming!
Behind you, watch out! Behind you, watch out!
A pipe.
Used in many of Freyr's blessings, I imagine.
The fate of these creatures. It reminds me of a story.
Does it?
There once was a blacksmith whose king commanded him to construct a box that could contain all the evils of the world. But no metal could hold such a power. So the blacksmith used the flame of...
Kratos, is this a story meant to ease my grief?
Perhaps it is just a story. A way to pass the time.
I appreciate the sentiment, but... well, your stories...
What about my stories?
I wouldn't exactly call them a comfort.
Fair. Mimir is the better storyteller.
Now don't sell yourself short, brother. You've come a long way from the days of laconic fables.
It's okay. Finish your story, Kratos.
The blacksmith's daughter was the key to unlocking the box. He died trying to protect her from those who would open it.
Well, at least it's a relatable story.
It appears we've overstayed our welcome in our time. Together.
Time to end this storm.
If my stories are of no comfort, take solace in knowing you did what you thought was best for your son's safety. Even these creatures know. There is little choice for a parent. You are not alone.
I'm not, am I? And now neither are they. Incredible.
The Song of the Sands. Well, didn't know I could get misty. It's beautiful.